You know what time of year it is? Christmas. Okay, so just to get that out there, I'm sorry that it's been a while since I made a video. If you guys keep up, probably not. But if you do, it's been about a couple weeks. So there will be a Walking Dead video coming up at some point. Rainford video, Annie's Lobby video at some point. So those are gonna come up at some point. So we're finally going to do Off the Shelf because we've been doing that forever. I finished this book, well, actually last week, and yeah, you can see it kind of has writing on the side. Same thing, just in Japanese. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, reading off the back, Great Ninja War did not, harm, not only harm adults, but it left many damaged children behind. Medical ninja Sakura travels the land, opening clinics dedicated to healing children of the medical trauma that experience. She learns of a series of attacks against Konoha, and her investigation leads to impossible conclusions. Sasuke is the terrorist mastermind behind them all. Using her skills and her heart, Sakura strives to clear Sasuke's name and bring the real perpetrator into justice. So, yeah, I mean, when you get that, that gives you a good indication of what's going on in the story. Yeah, honestly, some good panels of what she looks like. But honestly, this story's not horrible. I would say out of the three, it does kind of get a slow start, really slow. And it's not the best of the three. Kind of ridiculous that we don't actually ever get pictures of these two guys in the bottom. They're the two new villains, new characters. And yeah, and it's interesting how she first talks about Sasuke and blah blah blah, and then how she eventually I started this very early in the year, but I had other things to read, and all that stuff, so that got in the way. But to be honest, I would say, once you get going, it ends up being pretty good about midway through, or at least in a couple after the first 2 or 3 chapters. Some people get attacked, then you find out that they have like a tail beast thing, and it's like, well, how do they have a tail beast? It's like, are people taking them again? We just don't know. And then at the end of the day, no, that's not the case. But we slowly find that out. Sai is kind of like this. He's got like the guys on the inside, in the Sand Village, and Gaara for some reason now can sense chakra specifically. I don't really know that. That doesn't make much sense. But then he starts talking about it, and he goes on and on and on. Next thing you know, we get some backstory on that, and we find out that Sasuke was the one that did it, or at least his chakra was. And I think something interesting in this book is that they mention how they got it, and they got it because Sasuke and Naruto had these clashes all the time, and they would take the rocks that the blood would be on and all this other stuff, and they would take the chakra off these objects, and they would get it that way. It's pretty smart when you think about if you have to write a novel, what better way to do it is to pick up after some of these battles, actually utilize those places. Because I always wondered, well, like in the X-Men with Wolverine, what if he just leaves his blood somewhere? They can just utilize that, and the same thing happens here, and they utilize it all the time. They give you, I guess this guy, we find backstory about this Kaido guy, and he talks about how. As a child, like his dad took placebos instead of taking the real pills so that they could save up for him to go to school, which is touching and sad. And at the same time, that's why he believes in money so much, because they didn't have money, kind of like Nami. But at the end of the day, I think the medical drugs that they were using, it could have been a real, it's a real problem, but at the same, in their universe, it kind of doesn't make. They try to explain it, and it makes literally no sense. I think they talk about it in one of these later chapters how this kid is the the ancestor of Haragamo. And there's a lot of problems with him being the ancestor of Haragamo. First being which, how did he not know? How did they know? Did is there chakra sequence? And if so, if he doesn't know how to use chakra, how does that pick up? And it becomes really problematic, to be honest. It's kind of a plot hole, especially since the kid is saved and we never hear from him again in Baruto, and this is at least 6-7 years before this. So I think that's a plot hole, because the kid comes from a really powerful dude, like basically got their version of God. I mean, I wouldn't consider Kage God. He's more of a god than Kage. So that being said, this is a pretty solid book. The fact of mental trauma, I think, is something that doesn't get brought up enough, especially in this series. Because you can get rid of the bad guy, but like with Naruto or Shikamaru, they woke up to see their masters getting killed before them, because it was just that constant of a thing. I think it's something that's pretty understated, so I'm glad they brought this up at some point. This is the last book I have for these novels. I'll probably get another one. I've already, the Itachi one was already made into an anime, so wouldn't be doing that. It would be interesting to read it sometime, because I've heard that there's some differences in there. At the same time, there's also Shikamaru that got made into an anime, and I already saw that, so that would spoil the book, so I wouldn't be doing that one either. There's one about the Akatsuki, and there's another one, so that would be interesting. So yeah, if you like seeing these off the shelf, then subscribe and whatever. So see you till next time.